40일 18일 위해 조금만 생각을 조금 하고 벌거벗고 그럴 만해서 말 조금 생각해서 말이야. 그걸 왜 했겠어? 조금만 더 참았더니.
Noah too, if Noah had persevered a little longer, endured a little longer after this impossible, the 40 some long the years of time, and then if she didn't get naked and
술 먹고 말이야.
and the intoxicated as he was in other words, if he didn't do what he did by thinking twice, then his mission would never fail.
그렇지?
Isn't that right?
조금만 더 참고 조금만 더 생각 절대 그날이 없었을 것이다.
We can almost say absolutely the Noah's failure of his mission would never been possible if he thought, endured a little more and thought a little more.
아브라함이 죄를 짓는데 상대적으로 좀더 참고.
Even let's say that Eve fell, but if Eve had only one more thought, second thought, then she would not let Adam into the fall again. She terminated. She contained the fall in herself and never passed that along to Adam. If she had a second thought, which she didn't.
그렇지?
Isn't that right?
절대 조금 더 참고 조금만 생각해도 다 알아.
If she endured a little more, and if they contemplated a little more, Adam and Eve would never have fallen in the beginning.
그렇지?
Isn't that right?
자, 노아가 말이야. 40일 18일 위해 조금만 생각을 조금 하고 벌거벗고 그럴 만해서 말 조금 생각해서 말이야. 그걸 왜 했겠어? 조금만 더 참았더니.
Noah too, if Noah had persevered a little longer, endured a little longer after this impossible, the 40 some long the years of time, and then if she didn't get naked and
술 먹고 말이야.
and the intoxicated as he was in other words, if he didn't do what he did by thinking twice, then his mission would never fail.
그렇지?
Isn't that right?
조금만 더 참고 조금만 더 생각 절대 그날이 없었을 것이다.
We can almost say absolutely the Noah's failure of his mission would never been possible if he thought, endured a little more and thought a little more.
아브라함이 죄를 짓는데 상대적으로 좀 더 참고 가만히 하고 생각하고 말이야. 좀 살아야겠다. 실제에서 3대 죄를 둘 깨기 왜 하나를 깨기는 말이야.
Even more simpler and drastic is explanation is Abraham's offering. Why in the world he giving this offering? Why he cut these two into half? But why didn't he cut the second one into half? If he thought about it a little more, you think, did I do right? Well, right. If he even go through this period, this is a few seconds, then he would not have forgot to cut, which resulted in the great failure.
그렇지?
Isn't that right?
또 세례요한이 말이야. 이 시에 조금만 참고 생각을 좀 더 했더라면 그 반대잖아.
If John the Baptist, if he persevered more, if he endured a little more, put up with Jesus, although he felt that Jesus is doing too much injustice to him, even if he felt that way, if he had endured a little bit more, and think about it, all the time of revelation that he came to him, and the weakness of human nature, if he thought about it, he contemplated that, then would John the Baptist say, well, Jesus goes one way, I go the other. Has he ever thought that way?
자, 예수님도 말이야. 예수님도 30세에 공사할 때, 40세에 공사할 때에서 어떻게 됐을까?
Even in the Jesus time, Jesus, instead of starting his public life not at the age of 30 years of age, but at the age of 40 years of age, what do you think? He has a better chance of maturity and a better chance of fulfilling his mission than 30 years of age, do you think? Certainly. What about Jesus? Jesus did his public ministry at 30 years of age, right? Why didn't he just put up with them? Why just sit tight until he reaches to the year of 40, where the time of principle take place and mature. And why did Jesus have to go to the Jewish church, Jewish synagogue there and try to witness? And so why was it necessary for him?
모세도 반석 2번 칠 거 조금만 생각하는 거 피치가 않는 말이야. 조금 참아들으면.
Like Moses, if Moses struck the rock twice instead of one, which became the reason of failure. If he were a little more tolerating, if he endured a little more, and thought second time, then did he have to strike that twice? He would only struck it one time and then think about it and not to strike twice.
그래서
Then his mission would have.
자, 그럼 너는 뭐 들었어? 레브런 문제다. 레브런 문제.
And in the Reverend Moon's course would be the same. Not a difference.
내가 그때 그런 것을 알았기 때문에 한국에서는 한국에서 전부 다 절대 공생 안 났어.
So, do you know the Father never even witnessed to one person in a public speech? Maybe in a very private way, Father gave the talk and but not even two people sitting at the same seat. Father never did witness to anyone.
공석이 나타나가지고.
Not in public way.
예? 선생님 경제 1970년도까지 71년도까지 공석에 절대 안 났었다.
Father never appeared.
음식 집회만 죽었다고. 그래서 그래서 이번엔 맞지 털교는 맞지만 말이야. 예? 대국가적인 절대 안 했다.
Father never appeared to the public appearance like a rally and things. Father never did that. Only thing, Father kept his appearance to the minimum. And Father appeared to church and gave a sermon every Sunday, which Father did. But until that time, Father never appeared. All this time, Father endured, and Father hastened and made his foundation. And only when foundation is done.
기반 다 닦고 오게 되면 세계적 기반 갈 수 있게 돼. 그래서 1971년서부터 내가 미국 가가지고 공사.
Then the first time Father ever spoke publicly, and a very strong way too, was only after Father made enough foundation, the national foundation, and went to America and approached the American people. Then Father gave the public speaking for the first time in Father's entire life.
1973년 4월 30일에 영주권 받아가지고 그 다음에 3년 받아 1900.
To be exactly, it wasn't even 1971. Father came to America 70, but 73. April the 30th, when Father was given the legal right to stay in America. That means a permanent residentship, citizenship. Then that day, Father stood up and started speaking publicly. Before Father did, then for 3 years and a half, until 1969. 1976, September. That's 3 years and a half. Before that, Father spoke opposition count. Father has no way of defending himself. But Father only spoke. If Jesus refrained himself, if he waited and if he thought even more before he started acting, perhaps Jesus' history would be different.
자, 미국에서 기반 닦았다고. 71년 고등학교 영화와 6번, 7번에 왔다가 완전히 미국 전역을 돌면서 레브런이 승리한 기반 닦고 결혼합니다.
So then Reverend Moon made his foundation, and until that time. And then when he thought it was a good enough foundation, then he started speaking. And even after that foundation,
런던 대학교 언제야? 11년이 11년.
런던 과학자 대학 때.
아니 우리 부흥할 때.
The London revival. What year was it?
71년.
72.
전부 다 그때 세계 국가 앞에 전부 다 내버리면 소개를 해줘야 된다고.
Father felt that into the nation of the world, Father had to present himself to. Father had to announce himself, his presence, his appearance on earth, to every nation in the world.
영국을 서학과라고 미국이 아담까지 독일이 천상국가에 세계 나라가.
If England is Eve nation, then the America was the Adam nation, and the Germany was the Archangel nation, And at least Father would have to work on the foundation of 3 nations.
그래서 미국을 좀 승리하고 싸우는 거예요.
And all centering around America, Father has been fighting not only the immediate war, but the far-reaching war. England, Germany,
미국 쪽에 나고 있어요.
centering around America, that is, of
그렇지?
course. Isn't that right?
오늘 기반 나갔어. 내가 때린다.
So now that foundation, as far as that foundation is concerned, the minimum is done. Now it can even go on without Father's presence. Condition-wise.
그래서 미국의 책임 다해서 이 연구에 대한 책임을 4개월 되겠습니다.
So America's foundation is unswervingly, it's done there, stabilized. So Father must do Father's work in England for 4 months. This Father considers Father's responsibility toward this country.
자, 그간에 레벨문이 이 연구에 어떤 일이 해야 되느냐, 나쁜 사람은 되지 않아요, 좋은 사람은 되지 않아요.
This 4 months is a very intense period inside of God and all the spirit world and in the world. During this 4 months, is Reverend Moon appearing himself as a bad man or a good, acceptable man? And
영국을 그렇게 해서
this was remain to be seen. Is England that way now? Will they do they accept him as a good man, or do they still think bad man? Within this 4-month period, has English people come to realize he's a good man? This is what our goal is. So, in one way, all people from Europe come, and as sort of propaganda, as a sort of advertisement, that Unification Church members, namely the Moonies, are good people. We are trying to show this to the English.
너들이 아무것도 안 그렇지만 소문이 참
Like Father already told you, you're doing great things, but nobody really feel that, oh, I'm doing great things. Only after they think, oh, what I do will be a great thing, and now is a great thing. Only after somebody think for you, or you think you feel that. But even while you never thought you were great, what you do is a small thing, but not small at all in dispensation-wise. Everywhere they talk about you, you know. Everywhere they talk about you.
보게 되면 고생을 하고 말이야. 참고 말할 줄 모른다는데 이거는 청산 놈이거든.
They don't speak so much, and sometimes they don't know how to say and what to say, so they own. But then the people are impressed that, you know, your long suffering and long silence, and they ask you question. Then once you start talking, you talk like a, you talk like the professor, even better. And English people know that, you know. That's not what Father thinks. That's what people come to tell Father. The Unification Church members are strange people. They are good.
기성교회 목사님 참다 만들어주고 목사님 참다 만들어주고.
So Father told the seminary students and graduates to see ministers. So they've been talking to ministers. First they say, well, how this seemingly intelligent young man, got involved in Reverend Moon? They think, you know, and then after talking a while, then they are doubly and triply surprised, and he is such a man, and Reverend Moon has so many young people like himself in him, and whereas for all Anglican Church, we never have one young man like him. The bishop know that. Then they would say, oh, Reverend Moon is in fact great, and they come to that conclusion. And they would say, Reverend Moon is a happier man than me. Yeah. Bishop say that. In his own words, he said, Reverend Moon is a fortunate one. And you must understand that too. Bishop, they understand you're doing fine, good, but they think, yeah, I understand they will do 6 months, but they will never do 6 months. They think that, bishops. But by the time you do 6 months and well over 6 months, then they will say 3 years. Absolutely, they will never do 3 years. Before that, they will quit. But if you go to 3 years and then stronger, much stronger, then only at the time the bishop will say, I give up. I listen to you. It takes time for them. You must give them fair time. It takes them 3 years to realize that. Then that's the time they repent. They start repenting and they start reflecting themselves. They think back. What have I done for the sake of Christianity, for the humanity? Since such a young one, such not aged one, will come here and do that. What have I done? What can I do in the future? They start thinking about himself. Reverend Moon grown so many thousands of young men, 100,000 young men, but Archbishop, I have never even grown one man. They start to think about that. This thought, thinking, like a wave,
점점 작아져. 점점. 아이고, 그 미국서 신학생만 그러더니 우리 동네도 결혼석도 세놨네. 아이고, 우리 동네 하나야. 우리 동네 둘이야, 셋이야, 넷이야. 열만 된다는 완전히 엉덩이.
The same bishop only experiencing 2 months with you see. And then every month there's more surprise because they thought the theological seminary students were the unique one. But after 6 months, there's a few people spring up, their own people. The former Anglican church member, the British young man, will become as good as seminary students. Then he's surprised. Then there'll be 1, 2 of them, 3, 5 of them, and 10 his own parish. His own parishioner, 10 of a British young men become as good as the seminary students what they first saw in 1-2 years. Then this bishop really. What is your guess? If this materializes, then will England have a much better hope to revive again? Will live again, or will just have no hope and will straight out to the perishment? It's just like striking a match. If you want to set a fire in the wilderness, all you need is one match, and one match will ignite the fire. After you ignite the fire, you don't need a second match. You don't need any match. And then the fire can start from here and start from there.
바람이 불수래. 애초에 붙을 때 바람은 큰 뜻이지만 이제 바람이 불수래져.
In the beginning, the striking the match, the igniter will afraid if the wind is too strong wind, maybe fire is not strong enough, then fire extinguished. But once the fire gets going, the more wind, the better. It's a faster spreading. It's a more burning. And we have just gone beyond that the igniting started burning. Even now, to your eyes, in some area, sometimes it is burning and then sometimes it's going down, so you're praying very hard not to extinguish that. And then next morning the good wind blows and then is that now?
이것이 절대 없어지지 않는다. 런던 역사에 없어지지 않는 런던 기독교사에 없어지지 않는 사건됐다는 사실이 아닙니다.
You must understand what thing you already did is a historical achievement in London's Christian history. The entire England's history of Christianity. They will never erase what you did.
잡아내는 기독교 역사 끌어다.
And once you become more confident, become more mature, think harder and persevere harder, and if you are well, connected with the Anglican Church, when you pull, they must be be coming towards your pool. They cannot ignore you. They cannot isolate from you.
알겠어? 이제 풀을 붙이는데 머리카락 아이고 아이고
And you're sort of gluing, something. First you stick two hair together, and a bunch of hairs, and here or there, everybody's sticking together.
그다음에 이름 붙고 다 붙어.
Then their relatives, that there's no one who is not eventually stuck together. Now we are doing that, aren't we? We are establishing relations, aren't we? The heavenly side, the constructing a bridge. Soon they will pay more and more attention to you, won't they? Is that a sign of prosperity or a sign of perishment? It's a good sign of prosperity. This is so hard. How can I continue these? Should I endure or should I not? Well, then you feel all the reason more you must endure, and you must work faster to build the foundation. Then you will be free. While many people are doing that, even some people are dropping away. They're just disappearing, dropping away. And when he begins all over again a few years later, the job will be more difficult, never easier, because he has to pay unnecessary things.
옛날에 지금 마찬가지고 참고 생각하지 말고 참지 말고 생각하지 않고 너 참 필요도 없어. 반드시 성공자가 될 것이 반드시 역사예요. 틀림없이 하나님 그런 사람 하나님 그러기 때문에 그런 사람은 틀림없이 하나님의 협조를 받아요. 세계적인 반드시 문제를 제시할 천의의 문제를 제시해가지고 새로운 세계를 줄 것이다.
And the endurance and the contemplation goes hand in hand. If you just endure and not thinking, meaningless, then you might as well not endure to begin with. What good it will do if you endure and don't know what to do next? What good it will do? While you're enduring, you must think. Even while it is very difficult to endure, you must add on thinking. And when you do this both, then you will really survive, not only survive, but you will have your foundation achieved, and you'll be the center of the leadership in the future to the world. The people will come and ask you your guidance. Do you understand?
그러면서 생각 가운데 나는 먹고 살고 춤추는 난 마음으로 생각하면서
You must think, well, you are enjoying your dancing. Maybe you do that in your mind. Well, although I haven't danced and I haven't enjoyed for many years, I don't mind. Actually, I can do without them. Then you become confident that you are actually more fortunate, happier than those people who are engaged in dancing and enjoying all the time. Because they do nothing but that. Whereas you do the right kind of thing that you're supposed to do.
그 집에 잘 사는 나중에 반장 너라도 그 아줌마보다도 그 주인공은 내가.
So when you come across to a well-established home in your own age, don't envy them. He may have a husband, he may have a wife, he may have children, and a well-established, the secure home. It doesn't mean that home is ever secure. We all know that. Nobody can guarantee that. Whereas you may not have that today, but future you will have that. There's a guarantee. So you have to feel confident. You never envy them. They envy you. Why? Well, you can be proud of yourself with a good reason. Those who dance and who enjoy themselves, you know absolutely, without you they will go nowhere. They will have to depend on you, period. But you don't depend on them in no way. Do you understand? So you are fortunate that day. You have no place inferior feeling because you can't dance, because you can enjoy and have a nice clothing on.
내가 자랑하고 내가 거만하고 지금 간다는 다 이렇게 살아가지만 내가 받는 것은 가져가는 것은 크게 너희 모든 것처럼 구할 수 있는 신의 것처럼.
You see, enjoying dancing, all this nice family,
반대.
yeah, and the persecuting, that can disappear in one day. You know, it doesn't take a long time to be declined and perish. It can, you know, the history witness over and over again. This is a typical thing that happens. But what you do, although it's a step-by-step thing that you build up, nobody can take away from you. As long as you think, as long as you endure. That's your own foundation as well as collectively it's a heavenly. Still is your foundation. And later, you will subjugate them automatically. You don't have to talk to them. They will one day come visit you. Is this Unification Church? Can I talk to you? And with your foundation, you know, if you work 1 year, 2 years, that's your foundation.
자, 이건 일상생활에 친구 지간에도 필요하고 대인 것 절대 필요하다. 생활하는데 절대 필요하단 말이에요.
And we must have guessed by now that this is absolutely necessary, not only to our even stranger, but also to your family and also to your friends. Your foundation you're building now is necessary.
그래서 너 친구들이 참 개인을 고사해. 참 생각해가지고 다이를 생각하지.
Whoever talks roughly about you and persecutes you, if you counter them, even if he's good friends, he doesn't like you. So you just persevere. You just wait. Think and wait and, you know, have a hearty laughter. You don't understand.
그래서 참, 그래서 생각하는 아들, 딸을 어머니, 아버지 참 믿으려고 하지. 파산한다고. 저희들 그렇게 하는 거야.
Your own parents, if you have many brothers and sisters, your own parents would come to the one who endures more. If you are the one who endures better, then your parents will come to you and try to consult everything, family matter with you. Why?
역사가 그런 것을 의지해서 가는 거요. 천이 그런 것을 위해서 가는 거예요.
Because history is going to that direction, and heavenly fortune is moving towards that direction. This is why this works. Do you understand?
우리 천을 짜는 천을 레벨이 뭔데? 어떤 사람 세웠대. 참 구견들을
Even within Unification Church, Father looks at you, the 200 people here. Who is the best one? Who is the one that I can say he's the closest to God? He is closest to me, Father feels. Then the criteria are very simple. If Father hears about, she never says complaints, she endures and endures, and then she doesn't seem to be done, she always seems to think. Then Father says, he's the one, bring him in. He's the one who's closest to me, the closest to God, and he's the number one. You know, Father can, without seeing him, immediately say that. And if Father speaks to him a few minutes or a few hours, he's bound to say something which is a result of his deep thinking. No individual can immediately say that, tell that. So the Father knows that he's perfect. So which country, let alone the individual, which country will inherit the real work of heaven in Unification Church is that country who endures and always think to do the will of God better way. Such a nation will inherit the mainstream of God's work. And that's not hard to understand, is it? And then some other country will say, well, our country is just as good. Why do you pick that country up? And he's wrong, because Father has absolutely one criteria. Who is better in this way? And that's what he takes. And so the Father, just as well as God himself, applies all criteria here. Who endures better? And who thinks better? Is that a bad way of thinking? No. Is it a wrong way of thinking? No. It is, in fact... So when Father is going to give some real good blessing, Father chases him out in the most difficult way. More difficult than usual. And that's the best time to tell how much he's ready for tolerance. And the Father gives us some order like that about 3 times, and Father can pretty much estimate. Is he willing to really go through the perseverance, endurance, and he still thinks to that? If he loves the will, he can pretty much tell if Father gives it 3 times. If he's not willing really, don't care to do, then Father can say, oh, he can't do the work. Then he will also have another criteria saying, he's doing all right, but is he doing really willingly, or is he doing it just to do outside responsibility? That's another criteria, Father. It's not difficult to estimate a person if he's a rightful person to inherit much responsibility or not. These 2 category criteria you apply, and if you pass, then Father can give all sort of responsibility to you. You understand now? Then you have to... The secret, how can you endure? If you speak all the time, you can never endure. So, lock up your mouth and open up only when necessary. And lock up your ears too. If you hear a lot of bad things, then it makes you not possible to endure. It discourages you so much. Sometimes you have to close your eyes too. When you see something which you know it's not wholesome, forget about it. It has nothing to do with you. You just let it go. Don't notice it.
귀호구 말이야. 귀호구, 이호구. 여기는 나의 생각에 눈이 빠졌다. 이름이 왕이 돼야 소리 된다.
Like Father told you once before, ear, and the mouth, and the king of ear and mouth. And what does he become? What is he? The king of ear and mouth? Saint. In Korean word, the saint is spelled no other way. You cannot say any other way.
말을 천하 용수에 잘하지만은 말 안 하는 데는 누구보다 더 잘한다. 잘하는다.
So
다 갖춰 있다.
just all the time silence actually is not good. Just all the time silence actually is not good. It makes no difference if you do that. But when you speak, you must speak most eloquent way. But when you close your mouth and keep silence, you can keep silence for months and years. You must be able to do both.
왕이 된다면 입을 다물도록 새 권위가 있는 것이다. 왕이 될 때까지 말이 필요하지만 말이야.
King, until he becomes a king, maybe he needs a few persuasion to do. But once you become a king, you don't need to speak anything. In fact, the closer, the tighter you close your mouth, then better, the more orthodox, more the authority he carries. You know, king.
그래서 하나님은 우주의 왕이 되기 때문에 하나님.
And since God is the king of the universe, have you ever heard God speak something? not so much. God never spoke so much. Only a few words at a time. As a result, God has lots of secret which He did not relate to other people. Do you understand? And so is Father on the same account. Since Father, God never separable, Father has as much secret as God Himself.
내가 어저께 아침에 어머니께서 내가 지금 일생 동안 말하자는 걸 한다. 어저께 내가 얘기했다.
Only last night, Father spoke to Mother.
Last day.
Yesterday. Yesterday, Father spoke. That's how Father has been living all Father's life. Not to speak, never to speak so much, but in silence Father has been living, enduring.
한 가지 전체를 얘기한 거야.
In one point especially, Father never spoke about anything. Do you understand? Father told the mother that I spoke in no time about this thing.
상철이 하는 거야. 선생님 20년 동안 어떻게 선생님 모르겠단 말이야. 맞다.
That's what brings Mr. Kim out. Mr. Kim saying that I've been serving Father for 20 years, but I don't understand Father. I cannot understand Father.
그래야 다른 데는 다른 애 있어.
If a person, let's say Mr. Kim, understand after 20 years of experience with Father, serving Father, if he knows everything about Father, then the no more interesting to serve with Father.
그렇다고.
And the man, when he loses interest, then he goes down. So it is ideal that one doesn't understand.
일생생활에 절대 필요해. 귀를 잠그고 뭐라고?
So we must lock up ears and lock up mouth. Maybe the nose is the only thing you shouldn't lock up. But other three, you can do better if you lock them up most of the time. If you have urge to speak something, postpone it or endure it. Don't do that. Or if you want to listen something, most of the time don't, because nobody talks about worthwhile things these days. How about that? How about that? Eyes saying.
보고도 보면서 여태는 보여라 보래. 듣고 보고 한꺼번에 말하는 완전히 뺏고 그렇게 말하.
But when you need to witness something, when you need to see something clearly, then only then you open up your eyes and record it in your brain deeply. But when you really need to see and speak and hear at the same time, then you do that all at one time, and then the person, you have a better chance of victory over that person.
아니 무슨 말이?
Do you understand that?
보고 봤다고 하는 순간에 보고 한번 행하고 듣고도 어떤 뜻이 행하고 말하고 싶어도 참 말하지 않아.
So, in other words, if you heard something that you know it's not valuable, and you know it's better to forget about it, then although you heard it, do not express it. Do not say that you heard it. Just try to ignore it. Try to maybe keep deep inside of yourself somewhere. Just forget about it. And if you want to say something really badly, and you think it once, twice, and 3 times, and see, actually, if you don't speak it, it's better, then don't speak. Then you persevere and forget about saying that. But rather, you act. You act because all these will help you to establish foundation. And if you misuse that, your foundation is gone. And the Father can tell you the immediately secret for all sisters, for all the women to gain a good husband.
참고 하면서 귀를 잠그고 눈을 잠그고 다요. 틀림없이 너희들 남편을 훌륭한 나타나서 제발 나하고 살아서 이러지. 너희들이 이해하는 거야.
The guaranteed way of getting a best husband is endure and then contemplate. All the time think your future, what you're doing and think. And also lock up your mouth, ears and eyes tight. And then act. Only thing you do is acting. Then, the most handsome man will come to beg you to marry, not you beg him to marry you.
자, 생각을 행하려면 만들어야 생각을 하려면 틀림없이 안 돼요.
And if you think much, then you are about to act much. And while you're doing this, forget about seeing and hearing and speaking. Because it doesn't have to speak out when you act.
자, 너는 머리가 화장하는 중에 생각하고 머리가 안 되면 쓰가 해야 돼. 리버를 동대내고 말이야. 옷이 아무 문제 없다고. 아무 문제 아무 문제는 안 되고. 아무 문제.
Actually, when you can do your hair, not so careful way, it's all right. And when you have not a real beautiful clothing, it's all right too. Dress, it's all right too. It doesn't matter so much as these things to gain good husbands. Isn't that true? Well, you have to admit one way or the other. Is that true, or you don't agree with it?
자, 너는 우리 남자로서도 그거 좀 세세고 싶지?
What about you? That goes about the same to men. You want the best wives too, don't you?
마찬가지야, 마찬가지.
In the same way, if you don't show off, if you endure and think all the time and act while you close your mouth and ears and eyes.
나 왜 오늘 얘기하냐면 말이야. 하냐면 우리 천주교들 봉사하고 희생하라고 그래. 무조건 생각 없으면 안 돼.
Why would Father talk to you this morning about these topics? Well, by this time you're accustomed to. Many of them do very well to serve and to serve and humble, but not without thinking. Father thought, if you do that without thinking, then you are the fool. Then Father will really want to give you some stimulation. Actually,
360은 이거 뭘 하느냐? 너들 기반만 되는 거야. 참고 노력하고 생각 많이 하고 배들 서로 보고 다.
Actually, you are the ones to be served to, not to serve. But since the world is reversed, you're doing that, so you must have a confidence in you. So, the 360 homes you're doing is your foundation. The work you do, then 2 years later, wherever you do, even after here to go there, still count 2 years, 3 years, that's your foundation. People come to visit you.
자, 아무것도 거 전부 일하는 사람 들어갔더니 내서 360을 전부 모여놓고 일하지 웅변가 했다. 이야, 이런 저렇게 똑똑한 사람이었구나. 그거 봐요. 그 실력을 보여줘.
You want to show the people. So far, the 2 months and 3 months and even probably in the 1 year, 2 years, you never speak. You never pretend to have seen something. You never even heard something because you don't make any comment. So people think you are not so good speaker. But one time you start out speaking, they are surprised.
내 감옥에 있을 때 공산당
They speak. You speak better than anybody
공산당
else.
세계에서 3년 동안 있을 때 내 말하거든. 그게 레벨문이 공산당 세계를 남기고 있는 개시구나.
You know, Father's own life in communist prison, so many months, so many years, Father never spoke even one word. They had absolutely no idea he is the very one who will one day destroy, wipe out the entire communism on the face of the earth. They had no way to find out. What if Father spoke at the time? They didn't know. Nobody knew.
레벨문이 이런 할 때는 우리 동무도 듣고 몰랐다고 말하지 않으니까. 우리 부모도 부모도 몰라 말하지 않으니까. 우리 형제들은 몰랐다. 안 말하지. 내가 기반다. 내 말하지.